MaybellineDTV.com is the website. Log on and find out everything you want to know. Thanks for having us in this morning. As I'm sure the world knows right now, a magnitude 8.9 earthquake, the biggest in modern Japanese history, slammed the island nation's eastern coast Friday, and that was this morning early. 23-foot tsunami that swept boats, cars, and buildings, and tons of debris.
Yeah, and Tanya, on alert at this point in time is South America, Canada, Alaska, and the entire U.S. West Coast. So pretty devastating. I know watching the reports early this morning, and it was some of the experts saying that the 8.9 is just about as big as they have ever heard about or seen.
Modern Japanese history, yes. 200 to 300 bodies were found, and according to Japanese police, many, of course, unaccounted for. The death toll will only continue to rise.
So our thoughts and prayers certainly go out to those affected by the tsunami and certainly the earthquake.
It's 1915. The singed lashes and brows of Tom Lyle Williams' sister launched one of the most successful cosmetic companies of the 20th century, and it continues today. The author of The Maybelline Story and the spirited family dynasty behind it, Sharrie Williams, is with us today, and she is the great niece of Maybelline Company founder. Sharrie, welcome. Thanks for talking to us today. This is a fascinating. I've just read the back. I've read the review and the back, and I'm already fascinated.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Well, wait till you get into it. It starts off slow because at the turn of the century, America was slow. But by the time you get to Chicago off the farm, and then you get to Hollywood with all of the movie stars, and then you get into all of the stories of the family, you know, that's never been told before, you will not be able to
now,
put down.
Your relationship. Okay, your relationship. You are the great niece. Okay.
Yes.
Tom
Lyle was my father's uncle.
Okay.
And godfather.
Okay.
And more or less the godfather of the entire family.
Yeah.
It's a big family, not just my family, but there were 5 original brothers and sisters.
This is what was fascinating to me is the way Maybelline started. Can you share that with us when Tom saw, I think it was
my great aunt?
His great aunt.
Yeah, her lashes. His sister's lashes and brows. Yes. That's,
Right. Well, what happened, she was cooking over the stove and accidentally singed her lashes and brows. And since she was light of color anyway, she figured, well, there's nothing left for me now but the convent mother. So she desperately tried to figure out what to do. Well, she got an idea of mixing a little Vaseline and a little burnt cork. Put that together, put it on her eyebrows and eyelashes. Tom Lyle walks in. He says, is there anything like that on the market? She goes, I don't think so. I know there's, you know, face cream and a little lipstick and rouge, but nothing about the eyes. He immediately went to a chemist, put it together, called it Maybelline in honor of his sister.
And that was his sister. And now in 1940, 1 in 4 American women wore eye makeup. But by 1949, it was about 3 in 4.
Right. Well, because of the war, World War II, what happened was Maybelline was put into all the bases, the naval bases, the army bases, so PXs, I guess, is that what you call them? Anyway, people got used to having makeup. It was available, easily accessed, whereas before you had to mail order it. Now you could walk into the bases and get it. Well, when the war ended, the women were going not so fast. You know, we need our Maybelline. And so by 1950, when TV came out and the market could even branch out into Europe, it just took off in a way that Tom Lyle never dreamed.
Now, you started in Chicago. I think the company did start.
Yes, it started in Chicago in 1915, and Tom Lyle moved to Rudolph Valentino's villa in the Hollywood Hills in the early 30s. And from that point on, he ran the Maybelline Company's advertising and marketing department, dealing with all of the major studios, the movie stars, his ad agency, and he was able to, he would say, if I'm going to worry, I want to worry in paradise. Whereas the main company remained in Chicago, run by his brother, Noel.
And then that became Maybelline West.
Well, I called it Maybelline West because, you know, it was the West Coast part of the running of the company.
Your only competition at that time really was Max Factor.
There was no competition ever.
Well,
I'll tell you why. Max Factor was a makeup man.
Yes.
I mean, he did the makeup for the stars at the studio, but that was a very small audience at the time, whereas Maybelline was for
the
all
public,
women,
right.
public.
And I know movie stars they were stealing the Max Factor makeup from the company, from the set, and taking it because they wanted to wear it in everyday life. So that's when makeup really became widespread for women.
Yes, yes. Well, Maybelline never had any competition from the day it started until it sold in 1968. When it sold, it actually cornered 75%, I believe, of the market. And that includes Max Factor, Revlon. Everybody shared the other 25%.
Eye makeup really kicked Maybelline off.
Well, that's all it was.
Yes.
It was eyes. Whereas Max Factor was makeup, face pancake makeup.
Exactly.
And Revlon was, if you remember, they had the matching nails with the lipstick. That was Revlon's big thing. But Tom Lyle always kept Maybelline pure.
And Merle Oberon we're looking at right now.
Oh, yes, look at those eyes. Yes, well, Merle Oberon, you know, was in a terrible accident. I bet nobody even knows this. And she went through the windshield and her skin was pitted. Well, she still was one of the finest actresses of the time.
I didn't know that story.
And Max Factor was able, as you see, her skin looks flawless there. And Tom Lyle decided to use her anyway because Tom Lyle was able at the time at the studio within the villa to do touch-up. Now, touch-up now is nothing to us. We could go in there and we could have our wrinkles removed and we can look fabulous. But back in 1938, that was a new thing to be able to go in there and make you look flawless. She has, looks like she's on Botox. She's flawless, but the eyes still have the expression. And so Tom Lyle wanted that expression because she is such a deep-souled actress. And if you look at that, you can see what is she thinking, what is she feeling, and yet the rest of the face is absolutely perfect.
Were all the Hollywood starlets interested in becoming part of a team at Maybelline?
Well, not a team. What happened was back in those days, the studios would have a new starlet they want to bring up. And so they would contact Tom Lyle and say, we wanted a new picture's coming up. Can we combine the new picture with Maybelline and do an ad? So then an ad would come out on the back of a movie magazine that would say, you know, Betty Grable is doing Down Argentina Way, but look at, she looks fabulous because of Maybelline.
That was probably that first interactive with the cosmetic and the product and advertising with a movie and the movie star. So, we have, I should know her.
Oh, Hedy Lamarr.
Hedy Lamarr, yes, of course.
Yes, well, that's another one that Tom Lyle used because she was very seductive. It's a different look than Merle Oberon.
Okay.
It's more like come hither. He targeted every kind of market. He targeted, in the early days of the silent films, he came out with the model that would appeal to the virgin, and then to the flapper, and then to the middle-aged woman. Joan Crawford became the Maybelline face in 1946 and continued, I believe, till at least through the 60s. And this picture is the original family in Chicago. You see Tom Lyle is right in the center, and Mabel is right next to him, and actually I think behind him. And then my grandfather is in the sailor's uniform because he was going off to World War I. And then Noel Williams, which is Tom's older brother, was the person who actually helped launch Maybelline because in the beginning Tom Lyle had the idea but he didn't have the money for the marketing.
And our next one?
And there in the middle, the shorter one right there is Noel. He postponed his wedding for a year so that Tom Lyle could have that $500. Tom Lyle paid him back exactly a year later. The wedding happened exactly a year later, and Maybelline took off.
And
here's Tom Lyle on the left, of course, and my grandmother, Evelyn, who I have dedicated so much of the story to because of the tragic way that her life ended. And of course, I'm not going to give it away, but you will be absolutely shocked when you see what happens to Miss Maybelline, as she was called at the end of her life. Here is the Packard at the Valentino Villa. Tom Lyle right there in the sailor, the captain's hat. And Tom Lyle would have his Packards custom designed. Some of them had gold chrome, but they were always a little bit different than the regular guy could get because he would go in there and actually change the back of it or add headlights that were different because he loved the headlights on his cars because they were like the eyes of a beautiful woman.
It was a Packard world, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, if you could have a Packard. I would have a Packard.
I would have a Packard, yeah. I wish I had one today.
How do you think Maybelline has affected Hollywood today?
Today? Well, I mean, Today, Hollywood today, Maybelline, well, I would imagine that more and more women, as they become from girls to women, they certainly are going to want to emulate their favorite movie stars, just like they did in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, 50s, whatever. So I think that Maybelline, which is still sensibly priced, so that everyone, including teenagers, can get it, is of course affected by Hollywood, because Hollywood is still generating the image of the girl.
That everybody wants to emulate.
Yeah.
And of course the story goes on, a family that was really intoxicated with power, money, fame, and fortune. There's a mystery involved.
Yes.
I believe there's an unsolved murder.
Well, yeah, that is, yes, exactly.
So it is the dynamics of a very famous family.
Well, you know, it was a private family and it was a private company. And all of the family wanted to remain private. My father just passed away about 5 years ago. Most of the family is gone. We still have some in the second generation. But my father wasn't comfortable with this book coming out while he was alive.
Oh, really?
But at the end, he gave me his blessing, and lo and behold, I think that I have honored him in a way that he would be proud of.
That's why Tom wanted to run the company in seclusion from the villa,
Yes.
isn't it?
Well, I think a lot of it was that he was gay, and if that had been known in the 30s, 40s, 50s,
Wasn't readily
it could have
accepted.
destroyed the Maybelline image.
Yes.
Fascinating, Sharrie.
Oh, Sharrie,
Oh,
thank you
thank you
so
Thank
much.
you for sharing that with us this
too.
morning. We appreciate it.
And
very
don't
much.
forget to go to my blog at www.maybellinebook.com, and then you can see all of these fabulous pictures and hundreds more.
Great. Thank you.
When we come back, it's Body Language on Deck with Allison Craig. We're also going to talk about pain, how to manage it. Sam Maranto's in the house. Michael is playing music for us today. You're going to hear him throughout the entire show. Yavapai Humane Society. But first, the KFNN Money Minute.
Thank you. That was so energetic. I loved it. Both of you are so great with the questions.
This is Ken Morgan of KFNN Radio 1510 AM with today's Money Minute. Retail sales posted their biggest gain in 4 months in February, but they still missed the analyst expectations. Commerce Department reports retail sales rose by 1% last month. American families had less debt last year. The Federal Reserve reports the U.S. household debt, including mortgages and credit cards, dropped for the second year in a row to $13.4 trillion. AstraZeneca has agreed to pay $68.5 million to 37 states and the District of Columbia to resolve allegations it improperly marketed its drug Seroquel. The states had alleged that AstraZeneca promoted the psychiatric drug for uses not approved by the FDA and also didn't adequately disclose side effects. And online shoppers getting their first crack today at Apple's new iPad tablet computer. In-store sales begin later. I'm Ken Morgan of KFNN Radio with today's Money.
Here's your soda.
Thanks.
But she's so pretty.
Attention renters, it's never been easier and more affordable to own your own home. Right now, you can own a home for less than your monthly rent with zero money down. This incredible offer has turned thousands of renters into homeowners. Get a free list of all available homes, including bank-owned and foreclosure homes, at golessthanrent.com or call 480-305-6655. This zero money down program won't last long, and homes this cheap are going fast. Visit golessthanrent.com or call Go Sold Realty at 480-305-6655.
Hey, did you get a car yet?
I'm working on it.
Everybody's approved.
Crummy credit keeping you from having a good car? Get on board with Drive Time's GoForApproval.com.
Approved.
Avoid the embarrassment and the hassles. Just fill out the easy application, and we'll approve you in no time. Get approved online. Get a great car at Drive Time. GoForApproval.com.
Approved, approved, approved.
Are you hurting, in need of a miracle? My name is David Turner, and I'm here to encourage you today that Jesus Christ is still doing miracles and healings. Watch our show on AZTV 5:30 p.m. on Sundays, and receive your miracle.
Let your rain fall.